I'm going to explain today the proper way to do touch-up paint if you have a rock chip on your vehicle before installing clear paint protection film. And my number one recommendation is to have a body shop touch up your paint and do it professionally. That is always the best route. It'll look the best, it'll hold up the best, and you're most likely not going to bring that paint out of that chip. So the first recommendation is have a body shop professionally touch up your paint. My best advice is if the chips are small and you have a few that are small, just clear bra over them if they're not large and not an eyesore. The reason I give that advice, and that's my opinion, is because people tend to get touch-up paint and they'll touch up a chip and they won't let it dry, or they'll put too much paint, or they won't prep it right. And what happens is they get installing the clear paint protection material over the chip, and if they lift that for any reason to reposition it or lift it to stretch it, they pull that paint out of the chip and it sticks to the material. It ruins that piece of material. Now there's no paint in the chip. So there's a right and a wrong way to fix chips and damage to the vehicle before you install this. If the chips are little, they're minor, they're minimal, I would recommend just leaving them and brawing over them. If a chip is large enough like this, and it's an eyesore, and maybe on your hood or your bumper or down here, wherever, and you just think it's big enough and you'd like to touch it up before you put your material on, here's how I'd recommend doing it. You get a touch-up, the touch-up paint that's the color for your vehicle. They have that at any auto parts store. They'll give you the right paint that matches your vehicle. That's the most important thing first. When you go to touch that up, you want to clean that area really well. So really get in there and clean around where that chip is, in where the chip is. There may be a little dirt build up inside. You want to really work that out, move in different directions. The touch-up paint pens all come with on one end. You twist off the cap. It's got a little prep tool on the end. It's like the little tip that's almost like sandpaper. It's like a stone, like a pumice stone or something. You take the tip of that pen, and the instructions are on the pen, and you use it to clean out and scuff up the inside of that chip. Okay, then you put the cap on, you flip it over, and you go ahead and apply your touch-up paint. The most common mistake is putting on too much paint. So you have a chip, and you get this big glob of paint on there. You just want to put a little bit on there and let it dry, and then come back and put a little bit more on, let it dry, and put a little bit. Just add these little coats. Okay, if you just put this big glob on, it's not going to be smooth to the touch. That's most likely going to lift off with the bra if you have to lift the bra to reposition or do anything with the material that way. So I'd recommend just a light brush in the chip. On this particular vehicle, it's black. It would look gray at first. It wouldn't cover the chip all the way. You put a little more paint in the chip. You can dry it with a heat gun about a foot away for about 2 or 3 minutes each coat, or let it sit in the sun, or even just in your garage or outside overnight if the weather's decent. And maybe apply a second coat the next day, and then apply your material 2 days down the road. I know that sounds, probably like something that most people wouldn't want to do. If they've got a kit, they want to get it put on. They don't want to wait 2 days or a day for this stuff to dry. But what you'd rather not do is buy the pen, buy the kit, touch up the paint, and then rip the chip out of there, positioning your material, and then you've ruined your kit and your chip's not fixed anyway. So do the job right the first time. Clean it, prep it, get the right color paint, light coat of paint, dry it with a heat gun or let it dry on its own. Put another coat in there. So 2, 3, 4 light little touches with the touch-up paintbrush. Once you've done that and it's fairly smooth and it's dry, then you can go ahead and install your piece of paint protection material over the chip. If you know you have a big chip that you've touched up, probably try as hard as you can not to be popping the material back off. So let's say that I had filled that in with with paint and I applied a piece of clear bra. If you pull that off to go, I want to reposition it down here. When you remove that, you're going to bring the paint out of the chip. If you prep it properly, you do light coats and let it cure and dry. I'd recommend for at least 24 hours. Then you'll most likely be successful at touching up that chip and installing the paint protection film over top of that chip. I would only do it if it was an eyesore or a larger chip. Please like our YouTube video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and look for some free giveaways from time to time. Thank you.